Well, hello, everybody. How's it going?
Hi, how's it going?
We're chit-chatting. Dima, what's up?
Hello. I'm so excited for Rodneyna to be with us today.
Oh, I'm so excited to be with you guys. This is going to be
This
fun.
is going to be a fun one.
Yes.
And I think I got to turn the volume down because I am starting to get some echo. This is going to be a good one. Rodneyna, how are you doing tonight? I know we had already talked backstage, but I'm just, for the viewers back home, how are you doing?
I'm having a great day. I'm doing really, really well. And I'm super happy to be here.
Good.
Yeah, we said a lot of good things in backstage. Maybe we need to repeat everything all over again.
Absolutely. I'm an open book, whatever you want to know.
That's usually how that goes. We get it going, with some energy backstage.
Exactly.
And then we're like, hey, what do we talk about for the show? So
that momentum going.
The thing is, we got plenty. So, Dima, do you want to start it off, or should I just kick it off with some general questions?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Rodneyna.
Okay.
Everybody I know loves you, and I love your Ladies on Lunch Facebook page. But before we go there, just tell us about yourself, your background. What is your story?
So I'm from Baton Rouge, and I went to Baton Rouge and LSU, and actually I'm from Baker. Go Baker. And I have been an art kid my whole life. Sculpture, painting. I did a psychology minor at LSU. Graduated, and my first job out of college was at Baton Rouge Gallery. So they are my foundation, and I love them so much, even Jason. And
Jason.
Yes.
I love to poke fun at him. He's the funniest person. He gets so serious. It's the best thing. But yeah, Baton Rouge Gallery. That was my my first out of college job. I guess my first big girl job. And so after that, I worked at SGS Petroleum Service Corporation for a little bit and got to make some great friends there. And but people would sequester me. They would pull me to the side and they'd say, "What are you doing here? Or aren't you working in the arts? Why are you here?" And I was like, well, insurance and all of those really important things. But ultimately, I did end up going back to the arts. I worked at the LSU Museum of Art for a while, and then Art and Science Museum. But then I was stolen by the State Museum. And so now I'm here as the museum division director, and I'm over the Capitol Park Museum here in Baton Rouge, which is where we're going to be hosting the Negro Motors Green Book exhibition, August 21st to November 14th, which I cannot wait to talk about.
That is going to be amazing.
So excited. But I'm also the director over 3 other museums throughout the state. So the E.D. White Historic Site in Thibodaux, the Weedell Williams Aviation and Cypress Sawmill Museum in Patterson, and the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum in Natchitoches.
Wow.
How do you have time for all of this?
I don't sleep much. And, and I'm also in grad school right now because, glutton for punishment.
Wow. That's amazing.
Let's just add that. Just a little.
Yeah, just a little sprinkle it on top.
Why not?
What are you studying?
MBA. So
wow,
it's been really useful.
Rodneyna, that is amazing.
Thank you. But no, I mean, I do have insomnia, and no laughing matter. It's hilarious. I was talking to someone the other day, and they were like, "Well, what do you do?" And I was like, "Well, now I study, but before it was mostly Facebook. So this is much better use of my time."
Okay, so how do you? I mean, that seems like you're spread out there quite a bit, all the way from Thibodaux to Natchitoches.
Yes. We are kind of united in being history museums. And each of the museums, aside from Baton Rouge, really hyper-focus on what makes their region special. So the history of the space, the history of their industry, what makes Louisiana athletes so superior. Those are all things that
Hmm.
are near and dear to each of my museum's hearts and missions. And so we try to create programming and engagement that really resonates with the communities. So yeah, but it's far afield. I definitely invested in webcams in my first week. I was like, I need to put eyes on you without as many miles. So, but yeah, so we work smart, not hard, and we make great things happen.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been great. And this is I'm going on, I guess, my second year. So I'm still pretty new, but I am hoping that I can make a big impact. I have a lot of large dreams for the institution. And so I'm doing as much as humanly possible to actualize those things. Yeah.
So, what are some of the dreams? Can you
Well,
share?
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, aside from updating a lot of the content in the museums, I also want to open the doors more widely. One of my things that I grew up with is that I went to museums and galleries and symphonies, and it was part of my cultural inheritance. It was just the world that I existed in, and I loved it, and it opened so many doors for me. And whenever I have these kinds of conversations with people, and I learned that this is not the shared experience that everyone has, I try to change that, to let people know that these cultural spaces are for them, that it's part of your cultural inheritance just by being in Louisiana, that you are a part of the culture and you should take advantage of your museums and historic spaces. We are so special and so unique here. Our history is not very long comparatively to most of the world, but it's very deep and it's full of interesting things like our food culture, the way that we marry things instead of it being these isolated areas or like we don't have a little Italy. We have Italian food. Like, we've got pastelaia. Like it's not that we ever have a siloed cultural experience. Everything is made a gumbo out of, and so if we can also do that with these institutions and demystify them, take away all of the things that are intimidating about them, then I think that we have a more equitable cultural space. And so that's one of my small little goals is to open the doors widely and make sure everyone feels comfortable in the spaces that I'm in charge of, at least. Yeah.
What would you say to someone who maybe hasn't been to a museum in a while? Maybe hasn't been to, especially the State Museum downtown, right
Yeah.
across from the Capitol, in quite some time. What would you say to them?
I'm letting them know that you may have forgotten something. There might be something you've changed since the last time you've seen these exhibitions. So,
Ooh. Now, why is that important, though, Rodneyna? Why is that important if someone else has changed? Are they seeing it from a different
you
perspective?
are absolutely having a new experience that you would not have had as your past self.
Okay.
You have a heightened understanding of something. You saw a movie, you met a person, you kissed a girl for the first time, and therefore now this song resonates, or this object it hits in a new way. So experiencing museums is not just a singular thing. It's not a one and done. Oh, I saw it and I'm over it. It's a continual experience, and also getting to know your material culture. Thinking about what is the lived experience of the people who have stood in front of this object, and how has this random thing like a button become something that is now museum worthy. So there are so many ways of experiencing the space that it's pretty infinite, and you can come back and visit many times. You'll know it by heart, and you'll still have a new experience every time you visit.
I love that.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. Yes.
Well, especially with the pandemic, our lives changed a lot.
Oh yes.
So many, we're talking about being present. Of course, we
Mhm.
forgot all about it. We got to a point where like being present, enjoying the minute,
Right.
and
We're
then
about to get reminded
we're like,
really
okay,
quick.
throw it all away. So
But I mean, the great thing about the Capitol Park Museum specifically is that it is ginormous. Like our museum is huge. You could do cartwheels in here without touching another person. And so, and we also are encouraging masking as we're supposed to right now, and lots and lots of sanitation. And we didn't let up on that. Even when we didn't have to, we were just kind of like, yeah, people have germs. We're just gonna go ahead and take care of that.
so how do you collaborate with the Arts Council? Like, is there
Oh,
any
yeah.
interaction?
Yes. Actually, we just won a grant from them to support some of the programming during September, whenever they're doing their Ebb and Flow Festival. We are going to have some really cool things happening here at the Capitol Park
Awesome.
Museum. In fact, every single Thursday of the run of the Green Book exhibition, and most Saturdays and a couple of Tuesdays, we have programming.
Nice.
Yeah. So everyone, come to the museum. Come frequently. Everybody come. Yeah.
Like, let's say we decided to make a trip this weekend. I mean, how long can a family expect to be there? What should they? What are some? Well, no, let me back up. You said it was. You said it was huge.
It's huge. Yeah.
So for people who don't have the scale of this, you were talking about floors and floors. So what do we see on floor one? And then take us on the way up.
I will give you a tour. So close your eyes. Close your eyes right now. Your eyes are still open. Close. You're still looking. Never mind. So I want you, with your mind's eye, to walk into the
Close
museum.
your eyes. Close
He's not doing. Okay. He's got trust issues.
Okay.
I see it. So we're walking into the museum, beautiful architecture. We have this gorgeous sculpture that's hanging above head. It is metal and plastic and shiny and awesome, and it is all reminiscent of the Mississippi River. And then you look at the cash wrap, and above the cash wrap we have this giant painting. It used to be in our side little conference room, and I was like, what on earth? Why are we hiding our light under a bushel? We put it out. It's now, you walk into the museum space, you know it's a museum. It's a history museum because it's a giant painting of the founding of Vucre, which ended up being New Orleans. So we do all the front desk stuff. Adults are $7, kids are $6. We give military discounts, all those fun things. And then we're going into the gallery. So we're going to turn to the right. Yeah, that's right. Going to turn to the right, and you will see on your left, there is a blue gallery. The whole space is blue, and it's like an underwater blue. There's a reason for that. We're going to get back to it. But you're going to keep panning to your right, and you're going to go into the gallery space. Now, when you walk into the room, the first thing you see is a ginormous shrimp trawler. It's an entire shrimp boat inside of a building. It's not something you get to see every day, but it's all the way in the back, so you're going to get to it eventually. Now we're going to take a right, and we're walking into this giant map that's illuminated, and these videos that are talking about the Mississippi River and the founding of the Louisiana Purchase. So we walk through the Louisiana Purchase into Louisiana at War. And it's all kinds of war things. It's video, it's images, it's a lot of, even got a little Civil War back there. But probably the most impressive thing you'll see in that section is our Civil War submarine. Now, this is a giant submarine that you think, oh my goodness, people actually got in there, and you're like, there's no way. So that's a quick nope, but it's also really impressive. Then we see our, okay, so now we're kind of panning to the left, a little bit, going a little further back, and in that corner, we've got video, we've got giant images, we've got artifacts, all about our larger than life figures. Who are our larger than life figures? Who do you think?
I
Mm.
mean, Huey. Gotta be
You
Huey
are,
over there.
and Louis Armstrong. You are
Yeah,
absolutely right.
Louie.
Yes, Huey and Louis, we got them right there in that corner.
Huey,
And our
Louie, and Dewey.
in video. We did not put Dewey, but we do have the dewdrop in.
Nice.
So we've got music and we've got a bunch of really awesome things, and you're still walking through. All right, so to your left, you're going to see lots of the river, the importance of the Mississippi River. We understand how powerful it is. It's a source of commerce. It's a place of meditation. It's an understanding that it ties our nation together, and it's our largest waterway. And then we're walking past there, and we are actually face to face with this giant shrimp boat. And what's the question we ask? What question do you want to know whenever you are standing face to face with a giant shrimp boat inside of a museum? How did you get it in there? Everyone asks that.
It's kind of big.
And so either you are going to think one of two things: you got it in there because it's like the boat in the bottle where we assemble it in there,
Nice.
or we cut the bottle and fit it in and then just like weld it back and just pretend like we
I
did.
guess there's some sorcery involved in this.
It's museum magic. We're going to pass that, and then we're going to go back to the corner. No.
He's not going to tell us.
No, the wall moves. So after,
Can I bring my water bottle?
not inside the gallery,
But don't open your eyes.
but you can. You're cheating.
I almost drank that on my shirt, so I can open my eyes. Look, I
A
mean,
little bit. But yes, I will. I mean, and that's just the first half of the first floor.
that's the first half of the first floor.
Yeah.
I went on this crazy magical journey
As
with
you-
my eyes closed with you.
Good.
I was feeling a little vulnerable. I thought I was going to trip. I didn't trip on anything. This place is huge.
Got you. And you can do cartwheels in there without tripping on anything. Like it is.
It was so relaxing. You have
Open
a
your eyes and you do
voice.
cartwheels.
Oh, thank
So
you so much.
I just feel energized and calmer.
It
And
was
how can
good.
I be energized and calmer at the same
I
time?
kind of want to see the Mississippi. I've got to see the river. I was looking to the left, and I'm just trying to think, man, I gotta.
So
It's just so important.
you gotta come.
I've got to refresh on the Mississippi River.
You do. On Juneteenth, I go to the Mississippi River and just I eat my red foods and I drink my red beverages and I sit and I reflect and I watch the river. And it's wonderful to know that this is the same water that the dinosaurs drank, and these are the same resources that my ancestors used, and these are the same lands that we all walked. And so it's a very uniting and calming place to be, but also you remember the power of the Mississippi. And again, it is a place of commerce. It's a place that really merges many cultures, and we're looking at our waterways, how to preserve things, how to celebrate things. It's pretty spectacular. So, but yeah, we are so fortunate to live where we do. And I know a lot of people like to trash on Baton Rouge and Louisiana and things, but honestly, there's no place like it. And there's so much here that we can appreciate. And we have the opportunity here to be pretty much anything we want to be. If you want to be a curator, you can be a curator. Where you can't do that? Pretty much anywhere else.
I like that you said opportunity, though.
Yeah,
I think that's a key statement.
it really is.
Huge.
It really is. I mean, and like you can think of it as like a big fish in a small pond, but honestly, the pond doesn't really matter. There's enough room for everyone here to actualize their world, to manifest something if they have it within them to do it. And I'm definitely evidence of that. Like I've been given a lot of really great opportunities, and I've earned and taken a lot more. So it's wonderful, and I love it here. And I love my job. That's crazy that they let me do it every day. Who does that?
So
I love that.
you interact with artists all the time, every
Yes.
day, every hour. But what about you? What kind of art do you do?
Ooh.
Well, I am a sculptor and a painter. I do some welding, some woodworking, some casting, metal, and some plaster casting. As far as painting, some watercolor. I'm really bad at it, but I enjoy it. Um, and acrylic is usually my medium of choice, and oils. You can't get that luster and richness otherwise. But I'm also just a lover of the arts. Like I've learned that my patroning of things is almost as valid and as rewarding as like creating. So I've really gotten into the art administration because of that reason. I started off as an artist and wondering like how can I make a large impact on the world and make it a better and more equitable place. And then I learned curating, and I was like, oh, so that means that I can not just be an individual making an impact, I can also bring together people to help make an impact. And then I discovered museum directors. And I was like, oh, you mean I can take an entire institution and make it a place where people want to be, and an inclusive space where I can show off these different talented individuals? Yeah, I'm going to do that. And so I've had a pretty straight trajectory. I accomplished my 3 year plan, and I mean my 5 year plan in 3 years, and and it's worked out. So
During a pandemic too.
yes, it's been really challenging. It's directly affected our numbers. We just have not been able to be as resilient and visitation. But also, I'm okay with that. I want people to be safe. I want them to make wise life decisions. No, the museum or the gallery may not always be here, but prioritizing your safety is totally legit. I'll let that slide. But yeah, our numbers are growing though. We are getting more attendance. Maybe not with this recent setback, but every time people are able to, they're really like flocking to the arts and cultural institutions and nature. This has been a really trying time for DCRT, the Department of Culture, Recreation, and Tourism, but it's also been a time of people rediscovering what's in their own backyards, and so that's been kind of the positive of the silver lining of this is that people have really gone deep in their appreciation and their visitation of places that they had not been in years. So. Yeah.
Nina, you talked multiple times about equity. So
Yes.
what are you doing to be intentional to create equitable space? And as you're working with the different artists as well, and tell us, are you experiencing any resistance? Two
Actually,
questions.
I expected to get some pushback. I was ready for the fight. I said, you know what? I am the first Black woman to be director in this institution, and I understand that there's going to be some issues there, or at least maybe a few growing pains. That has not been the case. I was very surprised. Like everyone has been uh, open and receptive to my lived experience, to my point of view. It's been a validating experience in ways that I didn't realize I had wanted or had been looking for. Um, and then the fact that the nation has been in so much tumult, that this has just been a really difficult time and a time of healing and opening up and having honest conversation. There's been one thing that we didn't do is we didn't make a statement. We didn't put something on our website. We didn't, because our response was not that um, performative. Instead, we looked at what's in our collection. Who are we representing? Are we actually showing and sharing the lived experience of people who are in Louisiana, and looking at, are we showing women artists? Are we highlighting minority stories? What perspective are we telling? What narrative are we telling? Do we still have kind of a colonized view of our interpretation? And we are actually doing pretty well. The exhibitions have a um, it's difficult to say, but it's not a voice that is an authority over anyone, but it is authority on a topic. So you can trust the words that are being said, but no one is talking down to anyone. Instead, all of it is elevating the truth and the real story of lived experience in our history. So that's and also programming and planning, of course, highlighting minorities, but making our spaces accessible, doing work to translate things into different languages, making sure that every single person who walks into the museum knows that the space is for them, that it was created with them in mind. And there are a lot more initiatives that I would love to do in the near future. One of them is a low visibility and blind tour. I want to do some street scans of some of our artifacts and have a geolocation tour so that you can have your headphones on and it could know what you're standing in front of and explain what that thing is. I'm being told that Braille is going out the way of the dodo bird, but we'll probably still incorporate some just so that everyone who comes here knows, all right, this is my museum. My godson, he comes to visit on a regular basis. And when he does, he owns the place. He's like, oh, you know me.
Isn't that what you want, though? Don't you want that?
Absolutely. That's exactly what I want. I want every kid who gets the opportunity of coming to museums often to say, like, oh, this is my museum and this is my favorite part of it. And I want to share this with you. So if I had my druthers, like every single kid throughout every parish would come to this museum and say, like, oh yeah, that's my home. And this is where I get my food. And this is my culture and my history and my museum.
I was thinking when you were describing like how you were going to also have a diversity and an inclusion in the way that you communicate. I'm just thinking this museum is a lot of, I never thought of it this way, but it's a lot about communication. Like you are, and not just what you're curating, but it's speaking to you, it's communicating to you, but
yes,
what you sort of have to also curate and provide for people is a way for them to take that input, like
yes.
So the intake for you is kind of important. So how they see it, view it, feel it.
Right. Even the environment, the soundscape, the lighting, we consider it all. And creating inclusive spaces, we make sure that everything is ADA compliant, that, there are no, there's no text that people can't read because the font is too small or because the lights are too dark. That even in a wheelchair, all of the text is still at a height that people can still understand and read. And also that there's a hierarchy of the information, and that if you're a scanner when you come to museums and you're just like, I'm just going to look at the titles, you get an understanding of what you're looking at. Or if you're a reader and you go through all three of the tiers of information. Like it's something for everyone, and you can absorb it in the way that you are most comfortable.
Wow, I love this.
Isn't that
Yeah.
awesome? Is that what you, when you said you learned curation, is that kind of what you're going into a little bit?
So
I
yes.
never thought of it in that much detail. That's so fascinating.
So I am absolutely a museum nerd, and I like to hyper focus on exhibition design. That was kind of my foray into museums because I'm good at understanding 2 dimensions and then translating that to 3-dimensional spaces. But I'm also hypersensitive to color. And so I love creating environments and also manipulating spaces to make sure that people are having whatever experience that I'm intending. So it's is this a celebratory show? Are we using colors that evoke that kind of movement and experience? Is this a more somber show? Where you are supposed to feel introspective and have a lot of thought. With the Fondo Winans exhibition that just came down, I designed that one, and we had a room when you first walk in, and we put red gels on all of the lights, and so you walked into the space, and it was a little darker, and it felt like a dark room. So if you're familiar with developing old school photographs, then you would instantly trigger that thought. And so we put like his equipment in there, and we had some of the reprints of his photographs hanging from a drying rack and things like that. So and we put an L shape in the space that we had never done before, so that the way that you would experience the exhibition, you walk in, and then whenever you're coming out, you're having a completely different experience because you're experiencing the large window in the back, and it's illuminating everything, and you're bathed in light, UV filtered light, by the way. That's important. Uh, but you understand that you're now walking through this early part of his career, and that it was his wild period where he was, in the sun creating these beautiful images of Grand Isle and Crowley and places that hadn't gotten a lot of cinematic attention. So it's really important to me that people feel what I'm feeling in a space. And so however I can like hug people in the space and be like, hey babies, this is what we're doing now. Then that's kind of how I think about interpreting shows.
I love
Yeah.
Wow. So it's not just the art of the color and the sculpture. It is the storytelling too, like how you're telling that
Yeah.
story through an
Exactly.
experience. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, and there are so many things that are imperceptible that we just walk in and we experience wholesale. We are very gestalt in our way of experiencing the world. But every single nuance, all of the elements that we add to or take away from these experiences, they absolutely have a cumulative effect. And you don't necessarily know why something is off or wrong, but you absolutely know when it is. You've all experienced a space where you just felt uncomfortable. You're like, yeah, no, this is not my bag. I'm out of here. And there was no real reason behind it. It could have been an imperceptible sound. It could have been horrible lighting. It could have been that the space was too narrow. There's so many different ways to kind of mess it up that whenever you do it well, it's really rewarding. So,
Wow.
yeah.
I love it.
the
But
creativity part of that, like the fun side of just
yeah,
designing that has to be the fun part of being an insomniac, though. That's when you get to be the visionary and just create.
yes. I've got sketchbook after sketchbook and Pinterest pages full of like exhibition design, and I have like a other people have fantasy football leagues. I have like fantasy exhibitions, like, oh man, if I could get this artist and that artist and this space, gangster.
That's so funny. So, Rodneyna,
Yes.
would you like to leave our viewers with? It's just one message. What is
Oh,
one
goodness.
final message?
Oh, final! My goodness, come see the Negro Motorist Green Book exhibition. It is the thing that I've spent my whole 6 months on, and I am so over the moon excited about it. We've got so many programs. It opens November 21st. August 21st, and it runs through November 14th. And we're having a big opening reception for it. All of the festivities are outside where we can social distance and wear masks. And then the exhibition is inside where there's lots of room. And we're even adding a little extra breathing space for the exhibition just in case. But come frequently and become members and like fangirl over museums like I do, because it's awesome. And by awesome, I mean nerdy, but awesome. So come.
That is too funny.
I love that.
Yes. I'm working on it. I'm going to convert everyone to being art nerds like me. That's my goal. That's my plan.
Did you say art nerds?
Art nerds.
Oh, art nerds.
Art nerds.
But I'm thinking there's a little bit of branding there. Like you want people to partner. They can be partners.
Oh, that's cute. I mean, I love a bad pun more than
I'm all about that too.
Oh yeah.
So the message is go and visit, and I gotta tell you, the Green Book exhibit's gotta be awesome. You said August 21st.
August 21st through November 14th
That's gonna be amazing.
And like I said, we've got programming every single Thursday and most Saturdays. We've got children's programming, adult programming, family programming. It's so many things. I went a little nuts with the planning and the programs, but I just wanted to show off just how nuanced things were and how we could bring in so many members of our community to just make awesome things happen. Like we are so rich here. Like it's, again, fangirling. I'm a fan. Also, on the 7th the 8th, on the 8th, which is this weekend, Sunday, I'm moderating a panel for the library. They're doing that, the mini Makers Con, and I'm sorry, the mini MicroCon, Mid-City MicroCon. That's it.
Got it.
But I'm doing a panel on Baton Rouge, on Black history and placemaking, creative placemaking, and connection with the Green Book and the library and all of the goodness. So
they can catch you this Saturday?
This Sunday.
Sunday.
And it's all virtual. They'll be virtual. I'll be in person. I'm always in person, though. That's how being a person works.
I can't wait to see you in person. This has been awesome, just getting to know you. And I mean, I got to tell you, your job sounds amazing. It sounds so freaking incredible.
No.
Be able to do something like that and given the freedom to just bring that to life for people for an experience at the museum.
Yes.
I got to tell you, that's amazing. I want to be an art nerd with you.
Come on.
Art nerd.
I know we can be an art nerd too, but I want an art nerd.
But also, we should be art nerds. We can do that. Started a thing.
I love it. This has been amazing.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Yes.
And you mentioned about the community too. You're involved in the community. Thank you for being a bright light, shining light for Mid-City and also for our museums. Like DCRT has got a good one over there. So we're very happy to have you on board and showing us and sharing with us today. So
well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so helpful, happy, all the things. Y'all just anytime you want to talk, I'm here to talk. Let's do it.
I love it.
Well, y'all take care. All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.
Bye, everybody.